Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Hope you had a good week and all that jazz. Sorry I missed you yesterday, I was just too busy. Now, today I'm not going to be checking out any bands. Instead, I'm going to be talking about my new Harley Benton Baritone Jazzmaster guitar and giving you a bit of an off-the-cuff kind of first impressions video about it. I'm not going to be playing it or anything like that and doing tones and stuff today. I'll do a video later on with that, because in the last 2 weeks, I really haven't had a chance to play this. I've probably played it for about an hour so far. So it's not really a video talking about how it plays and all stuff like that. It's more of a kind of first impressions, how it came out the box, and talking about the QC and things like that, because there's not many videos about this guitar on the internet. And the ones that there are out there are pretty varied as to how people's guitar arrived in the state and whatever. So we'll talk about that. Basically, I want to say the reason I got this guitar is because the original guitar, the Fender Baritone Jazzmaster, is very expensive, very rare. And if you can get yourself one, it's going to cost you upwards of $1,200 or euros or whatever currency you've got. And even those guitars can have some QC issues. They're older guitars now. The necks might be a bit bent. They might not have been stored correctly and all the rest of it. So you might even find if you spend a lot of money on the expensive original that you end up with some QC issues as well. But I knew that I was never going to get my hands on one of those original Fender ones. So when I saw Andrew Boehner put a video up about this one, I instantly knew I was going to get it. This guitar is only 180 euros, which is a ridiculous price for any guitar, even just a standard, bog standard Strat, bullet Strat type thing. But for a kind of out the ordinary guitar like this with P90 pickups, with a baritone neck and all the rest of it, man, I really think it's just an incredible deal. I bought my first guitar in 1993 and I can't remember the exact price, but I reckon it was probably a similar price to this. It was a BC Rich Gunslinger, man, and it was nothing like this guitar and the quality of it as well. So, man, things have changed, things have come on a long way, and if you think now that a cheap guitar is still a piece of crap cheap instrument, you might be surprised at the quality that you can get for under 200 quid or dollars, whatever. Man, it's crazy. So this guitar arrived. I looked at it in the box just to make sure the neck wasn't snapped or anything. I was going to do an unboxing video, but it was all covered in plastic and stuff like that. I thought no one wants to watch that. Plus, I thought I wanted to check it out a little bit first so I had something to say about the video, about the guitar, sorry, rather than just say, yeah, it looks okay. But it looks okay. And I will say the one thing that you might find about these guitars that might put you off, you know, because of the price and you think it's really cheap, is some of these guitars apparently do come with QC issues. But I can say this guitar is absolutely perfect. I cannot fault it. I've gone over it with a fine-tooth comb. There's no dinks, there's no scratches, there's no kind of weird buff marks from the sanders. The paint's absolutely perfect. The neck is absolutely as straight as an arrow. The tuners are cheaper plastic, and if you're a kind of real stickler for that, you might want to upgrade them, but they work perfectly fine. They haven't got any of that lag where you kind of have to turn it for half a turn the other way before it actually starts doing anything on the tuner. As soon as you start turning it, it starts turning the tuner as well, which is nice. And you can dial it in. It stays in tune and all the rest of it. It's got just a standard fixed tail, what is it, hot shot bridge or whatever it is, which is perfectly fine for me. That's all you'd want. I don't think you want a whammy bar or anything like that, or a floating bridge on this kind of stuff. Because you've got the long scale length and the thicker strings, there's a lot of tension on the neck. I think a floating bridge would have troubles and things like that. So it's set up in the perfect way. But man, the inlays are right, the frets are perfect, there's nothing there to scratch you or cause any problems like that. There's no rattles or buzzes, it stays in tune, it's intonated. So man, I cannot complain. I'm actually super stoked at the quality of this guitar for the price that I paid. Because I will say, when I ordered it, I thought it's at the price where if it does come bad, or if the quality of the tuners is so bad that I've got to upgrade them, that it's not a terrible price, that, you know, there's still some more money in the budget to kind of do that. But I haven't got to do anything to this guitar. It's absolutely perfect as it is. And so I would just say you can get an absolutely perfect guitar from Harley Benton for the price. Some people have had issues with, scuffs and obvious kind of wear marks and things like that. But man, mine's come absolutely perfect. There's not a single thing wrong with it. The only thing I did have to do, which I wouldn't really complain about anyway, because you should know how to do this, and it would only be a problem if this is your very first guitar, you've never set up a guitar or played it much before. It did just need a setup on the bridge there. The strings were really high. The kind of action was at like 3 millimeters, which is way too high. I have it like 1 to 1.5, but I just lowered it down. Then I didn't need to do anything to the neck. It's still absolutely straight. Because as you can see, it's a really thick neck on these guitars. It stays in tune, it's solid, it's a real thick neck. I'm an Ibanez player, and the one thing that is a big difference from this guitar to an Ibanez guitar is the thickness of the neck. I play on the Wizard neck, which is the thinnest neck on the market. It's like 16, 17 mil. And this one does feel, keep bashing this guitar, it does feel like, a baseball bat compared to it. In terms of bashing the guitar and stuff like that, I already feel like this guitar is just going to be an absolute workhorse for me. Because of the price, I'm not bothered about scratching it, dinking it, whatever. It's already got scratches on the scratch plate just from the hour that I've played it. I'm really not bothered whatsoever. I'm going to absolutely tear into this guitar, play it as hard as I possibly can, and just really not care about any of that stuff now. This is going to be a workhorse for me. And I think actually that's a nice thing about the price as well. I own a Prestige Ibanez S series, which I paid kind of $1,400 for, which you could buy like 10 of these guitars for that price. And you don't want to play it quite as hard, although I have played that one hard. So I just think, sod it, I know I'm never going to sell that guitar or want to trade it in or things like that. So I have just played it hard. But because this one was cheap, I'm just not going to be bothered if I dink it, scratch it, whatever. This is just going to be a tool, a workhorse, not something you really got to worry too much about it. So that's nice. But yes, coming from an Ibanez, if you're an Ibanez player, that's going to be the only thing that really, you're going to have to get used to, and I haven't got used to it yet, is the thickness of the neck. It's not a shredder's neck. This isn't, it's not for doing kind of solos and all that stuff. This is big, fat, dirty, single string stuff, and bends and whatever. So it's a different style of playing. I've done some chordy stuff, and I've played through my own tones that I've got for my Ibanez guitars, and I will say, if you think you're just going to plug straight into your old humbucker tone on a standard guitar and it's going to work straight out, it's not going to. You're going to have to EQ it and stuff. You've got to dial in this low end and the kind of boom of the string, which is why I'm not going to play it much or anything today, because I haven't got the tones to play this guitar properly, and I haven't kind of practiced it, because this isn't just a kind of chordy guitar, it's not that kind of thing. It's a dirty kind of genty guitar, so it's a different style of playing. If you want to just play chords and chuck about, pull your Ibanez out. This is for a certain style of music, a certain style of playing, and a certain style of guitar tone as well, which is the cool thing about it. But if you think it's just going to be a plug and play from your humbucker or your Ibanez or whatever guitar you've got, it's not. It's a different style. That's why you would buy this, because you want to get into a different style of guitar playing and music and things like that. Very cool, in my opinion. This is why I've picked up this guitar. So I just wanted to say that today. That's pretty much it. I wanted to say, look, for me personally, the QC is absolutely perfect, and I could not fault it in any way. And I bought this myself, totally unbiased. I'm not sponsored by Harley Benton or anything like that. And I would definitely say if I had problems, I was expecting problems. But man, it's come out absolutely perfect. So man, I cannot complain about that whatsoever. The price is absolutely incredible. And if you're looking for this style of guitar, if you want to get into this kind of guitar playing, or if you just love playing in really low tunings and you kind of find that your standard neck is, you're having intonation problems, this is the guitar to get. You cannot beat the price. You won't pick up another baritone Jazzmaster style guitar with P90 pickups, although I want to talk about the pickups in a different video, and once I've dialed some tones in and things like that to see how it changes. But man, This is a nice guitar. I fully endorse it personally. Maybe if it had come with a bunch of QC issues, I'd have a slightly different opinion. But for 180 euros, you could have a dink, you could have a scuff, you could have, I don't know, a fret that needs filed slightly, and I wouldn't personally complain too much more about it, because that's only going to cost you like another 50 quid to get fixed. And then you've got like a 200 euro guitar that's super nice and is a different, unique guitar. You know, this isn't just a standard run-of-the-mill guitar. If this was just a Bullet Strat and you were paying that kind of money and then it came with QC issues, you're like, come on. You know, this is just a standard guitar. It should be all right. But with a baritone guitar and the P90s and, you know, all the rest of it, I would say even if it came with some slight QC issues, I wouldn't be that mad about it. Because you've paid such a low price for the, you know, it's not, if it was a 400, I've seen Ibanez, the kind of Ibanez premium series, I think it's called now, which is their $400 to $600 euro range. And I've seen those guitars with more QC issues with these in shops and things like that, where I've picked them up and they just don't feel right. Or that, you know, there's fret issues and things like that. So even on a guitar more than double this price, you can see QC issues that aren't on this personal guitar. So there you go. That's all I'll say. I'm very impressed with the QC personally, although I have watched videos with people who haven't had quite so lucky guitars, and I'm very impressed with the price as well. Absolutely incredible. So I'll do a video a bit later on when I've dialed in some tones and do some riffs and things like that. But as I say, I've only played it for an hour so far. I'm still doing all DIY and stuff on my house, so I need to play it more before I really can kind of talk about how it plays and what you can do on it, you know, which is a whole different video. So hope you're having a good day today, guys. That's it for the end of the week. If you want to get on the videos next week, head over to the website and all that jazz. But we'll see you back now for the Monday grind. Have a good one, guys. Cheers. Bye.